That doesn't make any sense. Let's talk about gender. This is super important. Since time immemorial, we have had two sexes. Now, obviously, if you're a big woke boy like me, the biggest wokest boy, yes!
You're a really creepy dude.
That's not true.
This is how sex actually is, okay? It is a bimodal distribution. So the binary grouping of gender like this doesn't really work. Say, for example, that you're just a not at all woke person, okay? You don't really know the difference between sex and gender. So if I ask them what a man means, they're probably gonna go like, oh, a hairy chest and a penis, and they wear a suit, and they've got short hair, they grow a beard, and they're like have a deep voice, and they're very confident and masculine, and they're the dominant sexual partner, obviously, and that sort of thing. And if you take a look at all of those characteristics, you can break them down into two separate categories. One of them, penis, hairy chest, what have you, these are more physiological characteristics that are associated predominantly with your genetic makeup when you're born. But other things, like having short hair, being sexually dominant, being confident, wearing suits, wearing like nice leather shoes, these things are associated predominantly with gender. There is by no means any intrinsic association between men having short hair and women having long hair. Like that system is not in any way like genetically pre-oriented. How could it be? How could it be? Men's hair and women's hair are the same? It's the same. And I could think of plenty of societies in the past where it's been fashionable for men to have long hair, and plenty of societies in the past where it's been fashionable for women to have short hair. Jesus had long hair. You love Jesus, don't you? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought we were using facts and logic right here, not fucking feelings. No matter how you look at it, the farther back you go, gender becomes increasingly arbitrary. Everything we associate it with. Dresses versus suits. Men used to wear dresses. The fedora used to be considered a women's hat. Now it's considered a men's hat. I'm not sure how that transition happened. Facial piercings? Earrings and the shit? You really think men weren't rocking that shit back in the day? These associations are not only arbitrary, they are harmful. What do we get from gender? What's the benefit? Can we all actually take a sec? I actually want us to think about this. What do we get from gender? I've never looked at myself and thought, I should be confident and well-spoken because I'm a man. Well, no. I should be confident and well-spoken because it helps me achieve my goals. I should be strong and bold because I'm a man. Well, no, I should be strong and bold because it helps me achieve my goals. So I don't know what good gender gets us. I can think of some harm.
The fire rises.
So what if you're a man? Well, can't cry, can't show emotion, emotionally brusque, difficulty expressing their feelings, difficulty communicating with and relating to others, taught to be aggressive, competitive, and almost like antisocial. These are some pretty like fucked up values that were associated with masculinity, and we call them toxic masculinity. There are a ton of ways in which gendered expectations can reinforce harm in a person's self-perception and in just the way they engage with society. This is like some easy shit, right? So I ask you, why keep these categories? Because as long as those categories exist, people are going to be held to expectations concerning the characteristics associated with those categories. And if there are no characteristics associated with those categories, then they don't mean anything. If you want to say, I'm a boy, by the way, boy doesn't mean shit. There's no right way, no wrong way to be a boy. What does being a boy even mean? I don't know, but I'm a boy. What? Why be a boy? Wait, why keep the category if it doesn't mean anything? What the fuck? That doesn't make any sense.
You are part man and part woman. Like there's an inner part. It's woman.
Thank you.
It's a compliment.
The categories are all socially constructed, all of them. They don't exist in nature. We build them through language, through social rigor, to serve a purpose. And if a category doesn't serve a purpose, but it could conceivably cause harm, why be boy? Friends, why be boy? Now I hear you asking right now, what about the trans people? What about the trans people? What about the trans people? I ask you, who suffers more than trans people when it comes to misplaced, derogatory, harmful, oppressive, pernicious expectations associated with gender? Who more? A lot of people, and by people I mean TERFs, who aren't really people, will say this. Hey, there's no such thing as gender. You're just a feminine boy. Why can't you just like you're interested in being a boy? You would never be a girl. Why don't you just be a feminine boy? I propose to you this, okay, as an alternative to the TERF approach to gender abolitionism. In magical future gender abolitionism, if there's no gender as a concept, you can't be transgender.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Draw it out. Here's the gender box. The X is where you're born into, where you're assigned, and the O is where you want to be. So if you're assigned here and you want to present here, congratulations, you've done it. You're transgender, okay? But that doesn't work anymore in a society where the boxes don't exist. There's no X. You're not assigned anything. There's no O. You're just born in this ephemeral space of abstraction where there's no expectation, no associations. When you're born in a gender-abolished society, there's no expectation for how you'll dress, how you'll act, how you'll talk, how you'll behave. Nothing but the absolute baseline physiological expectations that one might associate with a person who's born in the way in which you're born. With the removal of the boxes, every single person has to, free of social pressures, free of oppression, free of coercion, make the personal decision to go out there and live their life authentically, presenting, dressing, speaking, engaging in the ways they feel most comfortable. All of them, every single one of them. This, to me, seems like the best way, the most humane, reasonable way to address the harm done through gender without losing any good, any social utility. What do we lose? Who's harmed? Think of how important gender was back just 70 years ago in the 1950s. Have you ever seen advertisements from that era? The man-woman divide in America was like this. It was like this existential, it was like a divine rift between the two, and all of society was oriented around the social distinctions between these two groups. It's fucking wild. If you go back, it's crazy. And nowadays we've gotten a lot better about this. Men and women more integrated, so on and so forth. But it's not far enough. Why don't we keep pushing that envelope? Why don't we keep pushing that place until we recognize, hey, you can be a man and be wispy and effeminate. Hey, you can be a woman and be brusque and masculine. We keep pushing and pushing and pushing until man doesn't mean anything and woman doesn't mean anything.
I'm not a woman, I'm not a man. I am something that you'll never understand.
anything, and we're left with two categories that mean nothing, that have no distinctions, that serve no value, and then we slowly recognize that we don't need them anymore. Fuck that. With all the shit that gets associated with that, nah, fuck that. We can do better than how we're currently doing. Gender abolitionism is a coherent philosophy, perfectly in line with our modern understanding of gender theory, perfectly in line with the desire to liberate and validate the existence of trans people, perfectly in line with the desire to reduce harm in society. That is, I think that's sick as shit. I think that's dank nasty. I've heard a bunch of different terms thrown around for this: gender abolitionism, gender nihilism, gender anarchy. Some terms seem to be more predominantly associated with TERF, some not. I don't know. I don't care. Words are dumb, just like gender. What I know is this. In my opinion, the world would be a better place if we slowly made steps towards drinking a fuck ton of water, hold on, YB boy.